Well, good afternoon. This is a rainy autumn day at the tail end of 2019. I am standing on a major road, so we are going to get some road noise here. It's a little bit better. Let's get away from the road so you can actually hear this recording. Woodlawn Cemetery, Nashua. Here's one of the mausoleums, and then we've got the chapel to our right. And what tends to happen in my family is we've taken a few random walks in this cemetery, actually quite a few times. And of course, with the age of my children, they have that curiosity about cemeteries. Is like, one of the big questions that tends to come up is, what's the oldest grave in this cemetery? And I'm like, well, we can either walk the place and look at headstones, or we can just call the front office and ask, what's the oldest grave in here? And the guy told me, the curator was like, well, that's Darwin Smedley. It's a grave actually right up this road. You got the chapel here, and if you go up this entrance road, it's actually a little bit up the ways on the left. And he was buried in 1849. But then, however, just through walking in here and looking at gravestones, we actually spotted another stone further up over this way with, I believe it was an 1830s gravestone, which might actually challenge the 1849 grave marker idea. So let's go check out the Darwin Smedley gravestone, and then I'll show you the stone that we found that goes back to the 1830s. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're a little bit further away from the road noise back here, further back into the cemetery. So this is Darwin Smedley, died March 18th, 1849, and actually an individual that died in his teens. And I've actually read a couple articles online that actually not much is known about this person. I'm under the impression it's a person that wasn't from around here and just suddenly died from whatever. I mean, I don't know what kind of famines or diseases were back around during that time of March of 1849. And so now let me just do a quick scan so we have an idea of where we are in the cemetery. So that maybe somebody could come in here and research this or find this or get an idea of landmarks. So actually, if we pan to the left, and if I put my finger up here, that building right there is Kinsley House of Pizza, followed by the main access road here with the chapel, and then the cemetery office is right over here. Now, the grave marker that I found that was dated in the 1830s is actually, you got to go up this access road. So let's take a few moments and see if we can find that. Okay, so these two headstones are an example of what I'm talking about. If Darwin Smedley died in March of 1849, and he's the oldest gravestone, there must be a discrepancy somewhere, because you have a Mary Ann, daughter of Mr. Thomas and Mary Ford, died July 15th, 1838, aged, it appears to be 21 years. Let's see. Another daughter of Thomas and Mary Ford died August 21, 1836, age 17 years. And I think it's, how do you pronounce that last name? Sofrina? Possibly a Greek name, maybe? No, excuse me. And that's not, I'm sorry, I'm getting this backwards. That's not the last name, that's the daughter's name. Still could be a Greek name, though. And if I pan up around, we're actually closer to the main road And one of the main ways I know how to get back to this stone is because just across from us is street number 138, and if you pan over from 138, you've got these two stones, and then if you pan back over here, you've got the access road. So that's just an interesting find. Could there possibly be other graves in here that are older than this? Quite possibly. I might have to call the office back and see what's going on. And I guess one other footnote I would make about coming into Woodlawn Cemetery over the years is there's a fair amount of Greek graves on the western side of the cemetery. Actually, if I pan this way, you'll see that I am on the other side of the cemetery, and we have cars going by on this is West Hollis Street. And like I said, this is the area where there are quite a few Greek graves. You've got Greek names, and in all honesty, I'm not even going to try to pronounce some of these names. We got another Greek name there. Pappas, George Pappas, born in 1889. The only reason why I can pronounce that one, well, Pappas is actually pretty easy to pronounce, but I actually worked for the Pappas along the way in my work experiences. And then I'm pretty sure Gatsis is Greek also. Granted, I don't think Anctil is. Could be Greek, but I'm not quite sure on that one. But anyway, not to ramble on too long here, I'm definitely thinking this is another Greek grave over here also. That looks very Greek to me.